Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast. And welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Creepy Innawoods stories.
When I was 16, I used to drive my four-wheeler in the woods on a large chunk of property near my house. There were several dirt roads running across the property, and there were two old, abandoned grain silos just randomly out in the middle of the woods. I figured it was leftovers from an old farm or something. I would ride my four-wheeler around and park it on the side of the road while I went exploring through the woods on foot. One day, park near the grain silos. Get an unexplainable, ominous feeling, like I'm being watched. Go exploring. Come back to the four-wheeler. Battery dead. Realize there is complete silence. No birds, no bugs, no anything. Just creepy-ass, decrepit grain silos. Ominous feeling comes back with a vengeance. End up pushing the four-wheeler about a quarter-mile away. Ominous feeling disappears. Sounds of nature return. Try the four-wheeler one more time. It magically cranks this time. Drive home. A couple weeks later, I tell a friend about the creepy experience. Of course, he wants to go check it out too. Drive to the grain silos. Stop for around 5 minutes. Just listening and watching. No birds, no sound again. Friend asks me if I feel like I'm being watched. You too? Agree. We've had enough. Time to go. Go to crank the four-wheeler. Dead again. He says he feels like something bad is about to happen. Quiet. Ominous. Haul ass, pushing the four-wheeler away from there. Try cranking it again. It works. So my friend decides I'm right. There's something creepy about that place. We agree never to go back. But of course, a couple months later, our other friends say we're just cowards and they want to go camping around there. So we all go, but I refuse to set up our camp near the grain silos. We settled on about a mile away. Night comes around. Everyone wants to go see the grain silos. Nope, we go anyway. Hike to the grain silos. Friend brings a video camera in case anything creepy happens. Everyone jokingly trying to scare us along the way. Frogs, birds, bugs, everything making tons of noise. Reach the grain silos. Everyone notices it's dead quiet. No one says anything, just shines flashlights and looks around. A couple complain of an uncomfortable feeling. The brave friend of the group wants a closer look. Probably 50 feet through tall grass and thick bushes to reach the base of the grain silos. One other friend joins him. I make it about halfway there before backing out and returning to the road with the other so-called cowards. Friend with the video camera says that he just went from a full battery to low battery. Call out to the friends exploring the grain silos. One stuck his head inside a breach in the wall and saw a bunch of rubble and glass beer and whiskey bottles. They returned to us. Say they felt like something was watching them when they got close. The camera battery is nearly dead. We all get quiet. Silence. Then bushes start rustling. Something is coming through the woods. Nope. 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 We run back to camp. I don't know how we slept that night. I don't know what it is, but something just ain't right about that place. We were all convinced it's the demonic Sasquatch's ghost. But who knows? Also never found anything out of the ordinary on the video recording.
Heading for the woods with a bunch of mates somewhere in Northern Europe. We decide to hike to this old, abandoned Cold War-era military facility. Reach the facility after 2 days of hiking. Shit is cash. We spend the day exploring and plinking birds with 22s. By nightfall, we set up camp in one of the empty warehouses. We go outside, set up a campfire, and start making stew. All of a sudden, we hear the loudest and weirdest roar I've ever heard. We all shit ourselves, grab our rifles, and stare into the darkness. Something is moving about 100 meters out. We hear it rushing through the woods into the facility area. We stand there, silent, listening. Then it stops, and suddenly it is dead silent all around us. Just the stew slowly boiling on the fire. We look at each other and have a brief chat. We decide to carry on with making the stew. Next morning, we wake up and start packing. Everybody is making jokes about how we got so scared of some bear, etc. My buddy sees something lurking on top of the biggest facility building. We try to have a look at what it is, but it's too far away, some 200 meters maybe. It is just standing there, on two legs, probably staring at us. The thing is huge, maybe over 7 feet tall. I reach for binoculars to have a good look at who is trolling us with a ghillie suit. Just as I find the binos, my mates start shouting. I look at the creature, or whatever it was, and it seems to be running on the facility wall like a lizard. Very, very fast. By now, it is clear it is not a human, nor any animal I know of. It disappears behind one big bunker structure. We decide to nope out of there. We're scared shitless even though it is day. As we are hiking back, we don't take any breaks before nightfall. As the sun sets, we make camp and start preparing supper. Everyone's a little tense and we try to joke around. We decide to do guard duty during the night. My shift is 1 to 3. The birds are singing like crazy. They do that during the night here. And I managed to see a lone rabbit hopping around our campsite. I would have popped it, but I wanted to let my buddies rest. Suddenly, the bird stops singing, and the rabbit stops, raises its head like it's listening to something. The rabbit nopes out of there very fast, like it's running for its life. I feel very uneasy and flick on my flashlight and shine it towards the darkness. I'm hoping to see a glimpse of a fox, etc., that could have explained the strange behavior of the other animals, but the forest around us seems empty. Just as I'm putting the light out, I see something move behind the bushes around 100 meters away. It was something big. I shine the light directly at the bushes and try to get a look through my 10-22 scope. I managed to see something moving there, and I believe I saw a pair of yellowish eyes. Then it stands up. I don't know to this day what it was, but it was hairy looking, very dark, and had a face. The face was of a lighter color, and there were 2 yellow eyes. The thing was around 7 feet tall, somewhat human-shaped. Although I didn't get a very clear look with my shit-tier flashlight, I was 100% sure that that thing wasn't a human. So I started panicking, raised my gun, and lit that thing up. I emptied the whole 25-round Butler Creek mag in about 3 seconds. I didn't even aim. My buddies woke up and started shouting, and it was all chaos for half a minute. I tried to tell them what had happened as fast as I could. Having dropped my flashlight, I didn't know if the creature had been hit or if it was there anymore. One of my buddies picked up the light and directed it at the direction I was pointing my gun at. And there it was, just standing. We didn't get a clear picture of what it was. It didn't move or anything. It was just staring at us. It felt like a year, but in reality it must have been more like a few seconds that we just stared at it in terror. Suddenly, the thing just kind of falls down and starts slithering at us, making no noise at all. We start screaming, grab our packs and guns, and start noping out of there. We must have run like 10 kilometers straight up before taking a break. All of us were shaking. We didn't share a word. We walked the rest of the way to the public campground in DEFCON 1, weapons ready and listening to every crack. I've never been as happy as I was when I saw some German tourists grilling sausages by their RV. They were all like, "What the fuck?" when we exited the woods with guns in low-ready stance. We said nothing, walked to our car, and drove away, breaking pretty much every speed limit on the way. We talked about the thing on the way home. None of us knew what it was, but everyone had seen it, and everyone was convinced that it was not a human nor a normal animal of any sort. we decided to stay away from the woods for a while. Last summer, around the same area, some berry picker was found dead, clawed open. The local police said it was clearly a bear or some canine animal that had killed the poor berry picker. But the problem is that the wildlife around here is scared of people, even children. And there hasn't been one bear sighting in over 80 years. Last summer, we decided to be tough guys and find out what the hell that thing was. This time, we would go with 3 ATVs in case we would have to bail out fast. We took 2 cameras, 3 308s, and 1 1276 with slugs. There were 4 of us, by the way. A load of survival gear, and one of my buddies managed to get a Gen 2 night vision camera. We also had 7 pipe bombs, black powder in 2-inch iron tubing, with caps at the end plus visco fuse in case shit got out of hand. Yeah, it was kind of lame fake operator tier shit, but we thought we'd get all famous and shit if we actually killed it or got footage of it. Anyways, we entered the woods with our gear and headed for the facility. Again at the facility, everything looks normal, and birds are singing again. No sign of anything abnormal. We decide to map the surrounding area and look for anything suspicious. Nothing was found. We make camp at the very same warehouse as we did the last time. Night falls and everything is still normal. We have guard shifts during the night, but nothing happens. Next day, we start exploring the woods area around the facility. We find a peculiar pile of dead trees. Looked like someone had hauled them there. We take a closer look. The trees are arranged in a fashion similar to a huge bird's nest. In the middle of the nest, there is one half-rotten moose carcass and a shitload of different animal bones. We start quietly noping back to our campsite. We park our ATVs next to the warehouse we keep our camp in. We enter the camp warehouse and see our camping gear all torn up. The somewhat expensive cameras smashed against the floor, food taken, and sleeping bags torn to pieces. We take everything we could in like a minute and start driving the hell out of Dodge. It's evening by the time we get back to the public campground. A police officer stops us by the gates and checks our gun permits. Then the officer proceeds by asking whether we wanted to volunteer for a search operation. Our ATVs would be much appreciated. Some hiker had apparently gone missing in the nearby forest, 20 kilometers from the facility site. We look at each other and shake our heads. One of my buddies quickly says something about being late, and we drive out of there. The dude who went missing was never found. We decided that we wouldn't go in the woods in that part of the country anymore. Not going back there without infantry support and an anti-material rifle. Still, to this day, we don't have a clue what that fucker was. Authorities have issued a warning that the woods around that area should be avoided because there are swamps all around and the risk of drowning in a swamp hole is big, and that the facility area is unsafe because the structures have deteriorated. There is not one swamp in the area, and the structures seem just fine to me. Anyways, I'm not going back there without an anti-material rifle.
I was with a group of friends wandering the Bosnian forests and minefields. We were all rather scared from the previous boar encounter, and not to mention we were pretty far from home, around 2 days walking distance from home. We stopped at an abandoned center for people sent to death camps during the war in 1992. A lot of people had been mass murdered by firing squads. This was enough to keep you on your toes for no apparent reason. After later research, we found out 4,000 to 5,000 people were killed in this camp. We stayed there for about 1 hour. Being the curious teenagers we are, we explored the various holding areas and cells. We found names and paperwork had been left in some inconspicuous areas. It's difficult to explain the feeling. The air was really heavy and musty. It wasn't a very pleasant place to be, so we were happy to get out and continue our journey. A few hours later, while we were walking across a large clearing, making sure to keep on the very narrow makeshift pedestrian track, we didn't want to wander off as we could have had an unwanted encounter with a mine. We heard a horrifying, blood-curdling scream. It came from no apparent direction, so our first course of action was to run. We ran like never before. I didn't think. I just ran. I distinctly remember looking down at my moving feet and feeling no sense of control of what I was doing. Pretty soon it was getting physically impossible to run, so we stopped for a breather about 200 meters short of a thick forest entry. By now it seemed safe and quiet. All you could hear was the breeze ruffling the leaves and the ambient wildlife. We sat for about 10 minutes trying to brainstorm possible explanations, but the best and most comforting thing we could logically come up with was another group of people just messing around. We all hoped this was the case. However, the more we thought, the more our minds inevitably wandered away from the logical line. It was no use sitting here and pondering. We needed to get to point B before it was night, especially in this situation. We got up and walked, sticking close together and instinctively trying to have eyes at the back of our heads. I don't know how to describe the feelings and emotions through text. I was so unbelievably scared. I could actually feel my heart inside of me. This is going to sound stupid, but I felt like I had no head. It felt like just a weight attached to my neck. I was incredibly lightheaded. I had lost all rational train of thought. I just walked with no real thoughts running through my head. We approached that forest entry and saw a bit of an unusual and unnatural-looking section of shrubbery. It looked altered in a way. So instead of forcing our way through dense forest, we thought it would be easier and safer to take the already semi-cleared path. As we were approaching, we could see a light. Naturally, after everything that has happened in the past 2 hours, we took a quick look around the site and found nothing living. However, what was most nerve-wracking was the fact that there was a very recent lighted fire, food, blood-stained clothes, an axe, a shovel, and wired electricity to a place in the middle of nowhere, really. As mentioned before, that little breeze was enough to make rustling sounds, and this made us so edgy. Needless to say, we didn't hang around for long. If someone made the effort to wire electricity to there, presumably they'd be coming back to their site before the fast-falling night, and we sure as hell didn't want to stick around and meet them. So we got out of that area quickly. We could only hope that we weren't close to anyone to hear the sounds of our walking and talking. We headed for the highway that goes directly to the nearest major town, Prijedor. It was a good 2 to 3 hour walk. We didn't get there too late, around 2100, and stayed the night at a relative's house. To this present day, I have no idea or real recollection of what happened, if anyone knew we were there, or if anyone was actually watching us through that thick forest. Although nothing really supernatural happened, this is one experience I have nightmares about.
Be elk season. Been hunting all day with my dad. Decide to split up since we both know the area pretty well. Plan to meet up where the trails we are on will converge. It's near dusk, but I'm not too worried since I know the area pretty well. Hunt there all the time. Hiking along an old logging road looking for dem elks. As I'm hiking along, I start to notice that it's super quiet. All the birds have stopped chirping. Not even the sounds of insects or anything. Start to get that uneasy feeling. Hairs on the back of my neck start to stand up. Off in the distance, I hear a branch snap, followed by something heavy moving through the brush. Think to myself, okay, so it's gotta be a bear or maybe an elk. That's gotta be it. Unsling my 30-06, safety off, up and at the ready. Keep moving along the road but at a faster pace, not really caring if I see an elk now or not. Every once in a while, I would hear something moving along parallel to the old road I am on. Not cool.jpg. As I am getting closer to where I am supposed to meet up with my dad, it gets closer. Suddenly, the pace changes. It starts charging through the brush towards me. Go to DEFCON 1. Rifle up, aiming at the sound as it crashes towards me. Suddenly, a group of elk charge out of the brush. I almost crapped my pants. It was only elk. Thank God. Take a deep breath and go meet up with my dad. It turns out that there had been two groups of elk, and I was right in between them. One group had some cows and babies, so they were trying to get back to the second group that had more adults and a few bulls. My dad ran into both groups, so when I told him what happened, we figured out that was what they were doing. Still though, I live in Eastern Oregon, and the Blues are where people are always saying Bigfoot lives and stuff. So I was freaking out that I was about to be attacked by one.
Innawoods with my buddy. 2-week backpacking trip in the woods behind my house. Pack all the essentials, food, gear, guns, bring decent firepower because I ran into a bear last time. I have an M14 and M1911. Buddy has an SKS hike for about 5 kilometers, then take a break to eat shit, etc. Buddy is unpacking food from the bags when I go off as nature calls. Walk a little ways out behind some trees. Staring at the ground, I notice a heel print from some sort of boot. Weird. People don't usually hike out here. Tell my buddy about it. We make a few jokes about someone stalking us and forget about it. We pack our shit and move on. Hike roughly 2.5 to 3 kilometers deeper into the woods. It's starting to get dark, so we decide to make camp for the night. Set up sleeping bags near a giant redwood. Buddy starts making dinner while I set up camp. We have a generally good time, eat, drink a few beers until we go to sleep. In retrospect, we should have put out the fire before we went to sleep, but we were buzzed and not quite thinking straight. Wake up around 2 a.m. and realize that the fire was still going. Crawl out of my sleeping bag and put it out. I sit on my bag for a few minutes, letting my eyes adjust to the darkness, and I start to see something in the distance. I can see a red glowing light through the trees. It takes me a few seconds to realize it's a flare. The thought of the boot print comes back to me and I wake my friend to show him. He says that it's probably just a lost hiker and that we should pop one of our flares. I take out a flare and light it off. Not a minute later, another flare lights closer to our camp, but in the opposite direction. Another, and another. Soon there is a total of 5 flares of varying intensity and direction. Then all at once, white flares light off next to the red ones. Me and my friend are tactically cowering at this point. We start to discuss what to do when we hear a loud whiz crack. Bark showers us from the redwood behind us and is shortly followed by 2 more shots. I grab the 1911 from the holster and mag dump in the direction I thought the shots came from. We grab our guns and tactically get the fuck out of there. Fast forward a week. We hike back out to the spot where we left our gear to check if it's still there. Sleeping bags are tossed aside. Buddy's has strips cut from his. All of our shit from our bags is thrown around. All my extra 7.62 ammo is gone. Notice blood on Buddy's sleeping bag. Get the fuck out. Call the cops once back at home. Officer informs us that there have been calls about human hunters in the area. Coulda died. Still hike out there regularly. Nothing since.
Few months ago, October, friend and I go up north, northwest Minnesota-Canada border, his family's farm. We stay for a week. One night we decide to hang around. Got a fun place for us to go, says friend. 10:30 at night. Drive to a patch of land 15-ish minutes down the road. What is this? He says it's Conservation Reserve Program land, mostly wooded though. About 100 acres. Exit the car. Get his shotgun. Walk into the woods. Have a flashlight and some gnarly Saturday night special that probably doesn't even fire. Walk through a bunch of tall grasses and woods straight away from the road. Reach a clearing. What is this .jpg? The clearing is all dirt, maybe 2 acres, crudely plowed. An old ass shack across the clearing at the edge of the woods. Tactically kill the light and duck into some grasses. Sit for a few minutes. Hear nothing and figure it's empty. Slink like cougars around the edge of the clearing in the grasses, about 25 yards from the trailer or shack thing, all busted up. I approach with the light, my friend next to me with the pistol. We get within 10 yards. The place looks terrible. Windows all shattered. Shit is strewn about inside. Insulation falling out of the ceiling. Water damage. Close in and get close enough to open the door. It's already slightly ajar. I stick my hand out to push it open. It's a 30-degree night. Stop when I feel serious heat coming out. Easily double the outside temperature. Hear shuffling coming from the left interior, quadrant 2. Turn around and nope straight across the clearing. Hear the door shut. Tactically, seriously, almost shit my pants. Run through the woods for a few minutes. Reach the road. Have to go up and down to find the car. Find the car. Get in. Nope back towards the farm. Do 110. Don't go back to that Conservation Reserve Program land until 4 days later.
B16, a couple summers back, exploring in the woods with 2 friends. Decided that we were going to camp there for the night. Set up camp, relaxing around the fire. Friend is playing guitar. All of a sudden, we hear a man scream. The scream is coming from the other side of the hill. At this point, it's getting dark. We decide to check it out, being the stupid kids we were. We get over the hill and start making our way down. Suddenly, the most foul odor I have ever smelled. Look around. No swamp or bog to be found. Coming off the hill, we find a small dirt path. We follow it. In the distance, we can see a small wooden shack. Commando crawl behind some bushes. See animal carcasses hanging all over the shack. Friends and I decide it's time to get the fuck out. We turn around and see a man dragging something in a trap, body-like, bloody machete in one hand. He makes eye contact with us, eyes white as snow, drops the tarp and full sprints at us. We sprint as fast as we can. I gain distance and decide to stop and hide behind a log. Hear him walk right past the log. Nope out of there .jpg when I can't hear him anymore. Get back to my campsite. Friends are there packing up. We leave and call the cops. The cops went into the woods and never found anything. To this day, we have never gone back.
Just happened. Live in a rural area. Decide the dog should go for a walk. 10:30 p.m., so was only going for a 15-minute walk. No neighbors except a graveyard and an old abandoned barn. Not going near the graveyard. Already had a few .jpg experiences. Decide to go to the abandoned barn because I haven't walked the dog there yet. Dog is sniffing like dogs do. Seems to have something drawing attention away from everything, and ears perk up. Pull him back a little to see if it's just a squirrel or something. He will not stop focusing on the barn and the bush surrounding and inside the barn. Get my KA Bar 7-inch combat knife out just in case. Decide to start heading back because it is getting a little sketchy. Foot of snow with a crispy layer so I can hear everything. Stop to hear for a second. Dog still fixed on the barn area. Decide to start a slight jog. Stop quickly because it seems like there's more noise than there should be. About 100 feet from me, I think I can make out an animal about the size of my dog. Nope. Start running with the dog as he is freaking out. Ran about 800 meters in 5 seconds. Got inside and got my cool flashlight. Point outside and see about 10 to 15 coyotes along the fence line, just lurking. Most scary thing that's happened to me.
Be late summer 2008. Be 18-ish. Live in northern Scandinavia. Be out in the woods with a weak-ass dirt bike. Driving slowly on first gear, looking at some mighty fine pines on my right side. My father owns the land. There's a creek to my left, thick brush. Slow down to a stop. Suddenly, hear a huge roar to the left. Look left. Catch a glimpse of brown fur between some spruce about 15 meters away. The only thing here with brown fur that roars around here are bears. Nope, nope, nope. Rev the engine and flip the clutch. The trail is so shitty, I can only drive on first gear and have to work the bike like a madman to avoid stones. Still get the fuck out with the speed of 1,000 suns. Just a bear. Still scared the hell out of me. More stories. B19. Out in the woods with dogs. Not hunting. And Scandinavia means rifle at home. Dogs catch a trail of something. Can't see prints, but both mark that something has been walking across the trail there. Decide to go off trail and try to find prints because I was curious. Both dogs pull like mad. Gotta be moose or similar, and fresh track. Suddenly, one of the dogs stops pulling and backs up a little. The other older dog also stops. What the fuck? Both dogs are trying to smell something in the air. Stand still, don't move. Trying to listen if there's something close. Both dogs start backing up and turn around, trying to get the fuck out. What the fuck? Think I heard some rustling in close, thick bushes. Both hunting dogs really want to get the fuck out. Slowly start backing up and turn around. Walk away, looking in all directions. Feel like I'm being watched. Dogs seem to be nervous. Go home. Never find an explanation. Was probably nothing. Third story. Be out hunting moose. Got an old hunting rifle. 6.5 by 55. Old 2x scope. The rifle is a rebuilt Husqvarna with a Mauser barrel. Be in a 2-meter-high hunting tower on a mire. Hear some rustling in the woods. Put my thumb on the safety. Waiting. Hear some rustling to my left. Look over there. Can't see anything. The mire is in a circular shape, radius about 30 meters. I'm in the middle. Hear nothing for 10 minutes. Rustling to my right. Can't see shit. 5 minutes later. Rustling behind me. Another 5 minutes later. Rustling in front of me. The woods is kinda thick. Put the safety 2 off and maintain trigger discipline. What the fuck is going on? Hear nothing more for like 2 hours. Time to return to base. 4 moose are coming in with an ATV, and I need to go and prepare. Go back. Keep both eyes everywhere while walking back.
Be last year hiking, 24 years old, so I carry concealed. Where I hike, it's usually pretty secluded. Hear a girl's voice really faint, not sure if I want to. Fuck it, hero time. Predator mode engage. My dad taught me how to move silently through the woods. He was in Vietnam, so pretty much that's what kept him alive. Listening very carefully, find the direction of the noise and approach with caution, closer and closer. The worse the screams. Notice a cougar in the clearing to my far right, also investigating. Keep an eye on it, as whatever is happening may be worse. Realize 2 female voices are screeching. Get low in the bush and move forward. See blood on the ground about 15 feet in front of me, and the screams are close. No visible danger. Toss a tree branch into the small clearing by the blood. Snap. Bear traps under the leaves. Notice the cougar is closing into a big oak tree about 40 feet to my 3 o'clock. Raise and shoot one in the head. The cougar lays down. Screaming stops. I yell, "Hello, are you guys okay?" No response. Move slowly, gun drawn, scanning sectors. Realize I could have just fucked up and given myself away. Move towards the tree slowly. Hear something behind me. Realize I'm under fire by rocks. Yell, "What the fuck? Who's throwing those?" Shoot a warning shot in front of me. Hear the girls shriek and yell that they're sorry. Ask them what the fuck is going on. Apparently they were hiking and were going to take a break in the clearing until one of them stepped on an illegal bear trap. Help the girls out of the trees. One is a 7 out of 10 and the other is an 8 out of 10 all day. Treat the 7 out of 10's wound. Her leg is broken. Give her some stitches and immobilize the broken part of her leg. Tell them my quad is just over the ridge. Give them my pistol and tell them I'll be back in half an hour. Jog for 20 minutes, hop on the quad and pick the girls up. Get my pistol back. The 7 out of 110 is riding on my gun rack on the rear. The 8 out of 10 is riding on the seat in front of me. Get back to the cars, ask if they need an escort back to town. Awkward silence.jpg. They tell me that they have boyfriends and leave.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel, as more Greentext will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.